All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another episode of FTWGT Weekly. It's your boy Lenny, joined again by Dante over in the chair to my 1 o'clock approximately, or his 7 o'clock, right? I'm at your 7.
Yeah,
I'm definitely not at your 6.
No.
I would never be at your 6.
You're like 6:45, you know.
Well, that would be a second arm. So, I don't know if you know how time works.
Well, no, the hour hand still swoops between 6 and 7.
I don't know about that, though, dude. I think I'm at 7.
Direction.
I think I'm at 7. Yeah, we're back with another blazing hot episode here. And before we get into the pop culture, as always, we shall start you off with a nice history lesson. Dante, where are we going today?
We are going to visit the bunkers at Mount Weather.
Interesting topic we have here. And just for a little context as to why this one came up. As last week I mentioned, I am currently watching Arrow again. And in season 4 of Arrow, spoiler alert, it is Damien Dark is the big bad in this season, and he is planning on not launching. He has like a key to launch all of the world's nuclear missiles, because he wants to rebuild the world. So he's going to bring like select people. He's built an underground bunker, like a world, a facility. It's a whole town he's built out. And he's brainwashing people and putting them down there before he blows up the earth. People will say there's everything after season 2 and that show's bad. I would say I disagree. I really enjoyed season 3, and I also was watching season 4, and I just finished it, and I was like, wow, that was pretty fucking good. So, maybe rewatch it, everybody. Think about it this time. I also wonder when the writer's strike affected that. So let's get into it, shall we, Dante?
Let's.
Mount Weather. What is it, you ask? I wrote that down. It's an unacknowledged government facility that's operated primarily by FEMA. They were the ones who fucked up Katrina, if you were wondering. Didn't get water and stuff down to them quick enough. Are you fact checking that?
No.
Okay. Did they get stuff to Katrina?
I trust you read that somewhere.
I didn't. I made that part up.
Good God.
But it's just from recollection. And just to be clear ahead of time, I don't pretend to be an expert on any of these topics. This is stuff that I've learned 30 minutes ago that now I am just reiterating to somebody else. But I'm learning, so you'll learn with me. This one has actually been... Last week, the Coliseum was pretty good, but I actually really liked this one. Did you end up reading anything over here about this stuff, Dante? I am going to throw to you for one specific topic.
Did I read anything about Mount Weather?
Yeah.
I skimmed through a lot of it, yeah.
Okay, cool. So we went over this. It is located in the mountains of West Virginia and Virginia. It's spanning 434 acres. That's a lot of space. It's a lot of land. It has an above-ground facility of approximately, or at the time it was like built, I believe, it had approximately like 240 employees. It includes a dozen buildings and has direct comms to the White House Situation Room. Cool. Mount Weather itself, though, the initial use for this facility was started in the 1800s by the National Weather Bureau. And they were using it to launch kites and balloons. So it was like Father Sunday, kind of, there all the time.
Sure.
It was like a day on the beach.
It wasn't those kind of kites or balloons, but sure.
All right. Maybe I read that wrong. And so it was used like that until about the 1930s, 1936 actually, where it was passed on to the Bureau of Mines. Something that I never knew existed.
Me neither.
Yeah, the Bureau of Mines. And they were using the actual mountain itself. They dug a 300 foot mine, and they were using it for new like experimental mining techniques. But through evaluations, they determined the hardness, something you're an expert on, Dante, and the integrity, something I'm the expert on, of the mines during that time to determine it was a good place to start building and expanding the tunnels for the facility. And in 1954, the Army, under the codename Operation High Point, started to do this. Do you have anything to comment on the hardness?
Contrary to what Lenny has just told you guys, I am not an expert in hardness.
How hard is too hard, Dante?
Some would agree too hard is too hard.
It's like, how cold is ice cold?
Ice cold.
The total cost with inflation for all of this work would end up being around $1 billion.
Do you want to,
I'll leave that to you. You're like the Black Dr. Evil. They a lot of the cost went to reinforcing the roofs. I didn't write it down, but they used like 1 billion really thick nails. That's why I didn't write that down, because it was just largely unimportant.
Okay.
And they built a 10 by 20 foot door. It's 34 tons. It was 5 feet thick, and it takes 10 to 15 minutes just to open and close it. And this was they called it a guillotine door, which just, I assume, is the 2 doors, right? Or is it one that goes up and down?
I want to say it would be up and down, because guillotine was like when they used to drop the thing to cut off people's heads.
So what are these doors called?
I don't know. Doors.
All right. Sick.
I'm not a door expert either.
You're not a door guy, huh?
No.
You're more into hardness or doors? Which ones?
Neither.
No. So it was completed in 1958, and the bunker included a hospital, crematorium, dining and recreational areas, sleeping quarters, a reservoir for drinking water, an emergency power plant, and it even had a radio and TV studio for emergency broadcasts. Also, there's a series of side tunnels that can accommodate about 20 office buildings, and some of these buildings are even three stories tall. Think about that shit. Like, I just want everybody to think about the fact that this is an entire fucking planet, basically.
Well, I was thinking more like underground city, but, you like to exaggerate, so cool.
Some people like fantasize about Atlantis, but we have that. It's just in a mountain.
Do you think there's people there?
In Mount Weather?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty confident, yeah. Yeah, like there's a lot of people there. And realistically, a lot of the stuff that I have written down for notes is honestly stuff from like early Mount Weather. And there's not a shit ton of information out there. Like there's not a lot of documentation because it's primarily secret stuff that happens up there. I mean, it's essentially like an underground safe facility for like the most important people in the world to go to. If you've ever seen the end of Terminator 3, I feel like that's where they were going to. But it has become more, it's blown up a lot more in recent times, I guess. It was originally only like 400 employees. I think they're up to like 900 or 1,000 now. So it definitely has grown and grown and grown. But if you were worried about pissing or shitting when you were there, because I haven't really talked about that at all, or something small like drinking, they have an on-site 90,000 gallon sewage treatment plant there. They also have above ground 2 different 250,000 gallon storage tanks that are intended to support 200 people for 30 days. The weird thing about that stat that I found is that the next thing I wrote down was the facility is actually designed to house thousands of people, but only has private quarters for the president, his cabinet, and the Supreme Court. I get the president, I get his cabinet. I don't actually understand, because I mean, this is just, me and Dante openly don't know things. Why the fuck do I care about the Supreme Court when the world ends?
Well, so I know this was all like their continuity of government support system, so I assume the Supreme Court plays a major part in the infrastructure of the government. Not that I know anything about that.
Right, I hear you, but like to my knowledge, like the Supreme Court is just like the douchebags that sit in that room and like make decisions about stuff in the real world, but the real world in theory would be gone at this point, so they would just go back to being normal ass people. Like, why do we need a Supreme Court if there's only like 1,000 people left? We could just call it a court now, and then we could just keep anybody. I think Cochran's the one we should keep around if we're going to keep some lawyers up in this bitch. Right?
All right. Yeah, sure.
So they're the only ones who have private sleeping quarters, but they do have 2,000 sleeping cots that are available. So you can just like group up and sleep. It's like the Superdome after Katrina.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Um, so shortly after the completion, Jacob Rosenthal, who was an aide to Robert F. Kennedy, said he was sent to Mount Weather during the Cuban Missile Crisis. It seems like a lot of stuff changed after the Cuban Missile Crisis with Mount Weather because it was one of the first times that it got like real actual usage. But the only thing I can remember is that they hired barbers.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it was something about like to keep morale up. You know what a good shit and shave does for you. You know.
Well, you need the three S's: shit, shower, shave.
Yes, exactly. And we have that short that's out right now that people should check out about like the relationship between a man and his barber. So it would make sense that they would add those there, right?
That's baby boy.
No, that's weird.
No, it's
But
not.
it was most recently used Mount Weather, and it's not Dante's baby boy. Um, was most recently used in 2015. Funny enough, just due to a major electrical outage. Excuse me, in Washington D.C. Seems like kind of you know, overdoing it a bit to send somebody underground because the electricity went out. But we all go into a tizzy when there's no internet. And it was also used during 9/11. Makes sense. They flew helicopters though, not planes. Don't laugh at that, Dante.
Too soon?
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
22 years ago, I thought I was in the clear to chuckle.
This is where I'm going to need your assistance, Dante. I asked you to look something up, right? So, its existence was really only first revealed after a plane crash that happened in 1974 that was close to Mount Weather. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Do you have any info for me?
So it was Transworld Airlines Flight 514. There was basically miscommunication with the radio control towers, causing them to crash into the mountain. Something about I skimmed through it, so I don't have the specifics, but basically the way it was set up is they fly through like a series of like radio beacons, and when they're within range, they basically give them direction to the next radio beacon. So when they were in range to land, they then just got the instruction they were cleared to land. Now the miscommunication is they thought they could just start descending and land, but they expected the radio control tower to give them radar guidance, but the radio control towers only sometimes do that, whereas the pilots don't know, and I guess that's a whole system they revamped after that crash.
So it was a lesson they learned from that crash.
Yeah.
Interesting. So after that plane crash, the guards at Mount Weather wouldn't even allow people to like they wouldn't even let photographers to take pictures or anything. There was 90 people's lives that were lost in that plane crash, and there's not any pictures that came from it. They couldn't even take pictures of the crash itself, let alone like surrounding areas. Which kind of leads me to my next point that like Mount Weather still to this time, like I said, it's largely expanded in terms of employees. It's actually contributed a ton of jobs to local areas there in Virginia and West Virginia. But most of the people, including the people who work there, actually don't know very much at all about what happens inside of Mount Weather. Like they can see a lot of the facilities that are outside, a majority of which were the ones that were built back at the beginning of the 1900s there, and they are still the ones that are standing today. They've just like updated them and maintained them essentially, but they don't know any of the stuff that's really taking place underground. A few of the important so there's like 6 major natural disaster or major disaster facilities that are there. They are the National Processing Service Center. Don't know what that is. Satellite Teleregistration Center. So I assume that's just like they know where all the satellites are. Does that sound right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Disaster Finance Office. That could just be the American commerce as it is.
Yeah.
Disaster Information Systems Clearinghouse. So that's just like a Building 19 for bad news.
Sure.
Disaster Personal Operations Division. That's R.I.P. Jerry Springer.
You gotta ask, why do they have to lead everything with disaster? Like, we get it.
It's all bad. It's all really good. And then to break the trend for you, Dante, Agency Logistical Center or Agency Logistics Center.
Not disaster logistics?
Nope. And they say even like things like flooding these days has to go through a lot of coordination that comes out of Mount Weather, interestingly enough. So yeah, did you have what was about that little book? Did you read anything about the thing you have in front of you? And if I don't know the name of it anymore, I can't remember.
It wasn't a book. It was basically
Article something.
It was a PSA that
Yeah.
Eisenhower had asked what's his name? Arthur Godfrey.
It's writing build letters at the top of the page.
That had asked Arthur Godfrey to put out because he was a celebrity at the time and he felt that the message would be best received from him. They had recorded this in anticipation to kind of calm the masses in the wake of the Cold War. But they never actually released it, so it's actually something they're still looking for.
Yeah, so I actually saw, I think I read that is kept inside of Mount Weather. Like both of those tapes are still in Mount Weather. And because they never end up using it, like that's why they never released them, right?
Yeah.
So, damn. Did you pull up the list of Mount Weather's pop culture references?
I didn't pull up a list, but I did have like a Wikipedia article that basically brought up a bunch of like TV shows and movies it was referenced in.
Yeah, I have a few that I could recall. So I already brought up Arrow. Another big one for me was the 100.
Yeah.
That was, I didn't even really think about it at the time, but yeah, they had, so anybody who doesn't know, the 100 was a show on the CW, which is clearly a place where I watched a majority of my TV for some reason. But the 100 was a show that like the first season is pretty cringe, I would say. Overall, it's not great, but then I think it is TV sitcom level show, but with like the brutality of a Game of Thrones to an extent. Not as violent because you can't, because it's not on like HBO, but it was like, I think it's that good. It's probably just a show that's a little underrated and maybe went a season too long by the end of it. But either way, that's a show where the world was ending. There was like I don't know if it was nuclear fallout or something like that.
Yeah, because it was something with radiation, right?
Yeah, so they send up a bunch of people to space, and they're living in space, but they're running out of resources up there. So they send a group of 100 people down from space back down to Earth to see if it's inhabitable. And when they get down there, they find that people have been living on Earth, and Mount Weather is one of the places that has been maintaining people. People were able to live underground.
Which, funny enough, that was my reference I remember from Mount Weather. Actually, when you told me we were doing Mount Weather this week, I was like, is that a real place? Yeah. I only had known about it from the 100.
Well, and now reading what we've read about it today, right, it kind of makes a lot more sense that that show.
Yeah.
It was also referenced in Triple X, the Vin Diesel movie. He'll come up more in this episode. It's where Samuel L. Jackson's character like gives out his orders from, is Mount Weather.
Oh, okay.
The other place that I remember it from is a movie I don't like that much. It's Sum of All Fears. It's Morgan Freeman and Ben Affleck. It is my least favorite Jack Ryan movie. And that's what I got. You got anything else to add?
You pretty much hit all the big ones here. It was included in the 2002 series finale of The X-Files. It was featured in the movie The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Okay, Keanu Reeves movie.
Yeah.
Well, is it the more that's a remake? So
the 2008 one.
Yeah, so Keanu Reeves. Okay. No, I don't like that movie that much. I don't know. You probably haven't seen it.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Sci-fi TV series Z Nation.
I feel like you would watch that show.
Is that like a zombie show?
Mm-hmm.
I probably would.
Well, watch The Walking Dead, but you'll watch Z Nation.
If it's short enough. I have a short attention span.
No, I think it's like 4 seasons. 5 seasons.
Probably won't.
It was also like a Sci-Fi Channel one, so the quality's like so-so. I think it's more humorous.
And then there was a few more movies. What was it? 13 Days and Genesis.
It's 13 Days, Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. No, it's the John F. Kennedy movie. Never mind.
Okay.
Sorry. It's actually referencing the Cuban Missile Crisis thing that we talked about.
Oh, okay.
Can you look up Arnold Schwarzenegger 13 Days, though, for me really quickly? Because I think it's a movie.
Make me try and spell his name.
It'll come up pretty quickly. I believe it's a movie where he's like fighting demons, maybe, or something like that.
Is it End of Days?
End of Days. Okay, there we go. That's exactly what it is, though.
Ah.
Nobody needs to watch that. It was just kind of from my memory.
Okay.
I remember I had it on DVD. It's not good. It was like, what year did it come out?
99.
And what do you probably don't know the year, but what year did he run for office in California?
Oh.
Because I feel like this was kind of right
Shortly
around
after,
it.
no?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it was just on his way out of Hollywood, and he was making pretty bad movies at that point. You're a pro at typing his name now.
Apparently not. It corrected me. He began in 2003.
Yeah, so basically he made bad movies and was like, yeah, let's get out of here before I ruin my good name. And then ever since he's come back, he's made pretty good stuff, so good for him. Is that all we have for Mount Weather?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is probably a topic I'm going to end up looking a bit more into. But if anybody out there knows any interesting stuff that maybe we missed on Mount Weather, that'd be kind of cool. Let us know if you learned anything from this. That'd be also nice to hear. If this is valuable information to anybody other than myself. And otherwise, we're just going to keep going. So we've got the biggest movie of the year so far from me coming out this week. And we're going to probably do a little preview on that. So we're going to be talking Fast and the Furious, Fast 10. A lot of really cool news dropping this week about that. Starting with the fact that Vin Diesel has decided that this should be a 3-parter.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, Dante?
I guess I didn't even read up what like the plot on this one is, so
I have no idea. Well, I vaguely know. So as I've talked about on here, I don't really try to watch trailers anymore. So
but my question is, how do you make a 3-parter of something that's already a part 10 of something? Like,
it's a new trilogy. So I don't know if it's going to be Fast and Furious 10, Part A, Part B, and Part C, or if it's just going to be 10, 11, 12. Because that, I mean, it kind of works that way, though. You're starting like a new trilogy that way, right? 10, 11, 12?
I guess.
To a point. Yeah. So I don't really know what the plan is there. I from what I understand, they basically just have found now a way in these movies to create bad guys out of thin air that are like things from earlier movies that you would have never thought needed to be like retread. And so with this one, from what I understand, Jason Momoa is is the son of somebody who died in either the 4th or the 5th movie.
Ah, okay.
And like everybody else, he's motivated by family. So he's got to come back and he's got to kill the shit out of Dom Toretto. Right?
It's all about revenge and family, right?
Mm-hmm. Revenge for your family.
Ah, yes.
So that's what the gist of what I've gathered from this. Do you think now he's again not a wrestler? Just want to get that out of the way now. Not a wrestler, Dante. Jason Momoa. Do you think he'll be good in this movie? Do you think he's a good bad guy? Is he somebody who gets you as an expert on hardness? Is he somebody who gets you hard about being the bad guy in this?
No.
No.
I mean, define good. Like, what do we expect in terms of good with this franchise anymore? Is it going to be entertaining?
That was rude, what you just did there.
I say it's going to be entertaining, sure, but like, good?
Brother. Don't you feel like you're being a bit rude right now?
I'm sorry. I know this is like your all-time favorite franchise. And I just hurt your feelings.
I just don't know why you had to say it like that. Like, there's plenty of good in this franchise.
Yeah,
there's even good bad people, right? Like, I think generally the only problem with the bad guys in this is they all just become good guys at some point. And I think that's my major issue with Jason Momoa, is that he's inevitably going to end up being the good guy at the end of this movie, because I look at that guy and there's nothing about him that says bad guy, right?
Yeah. He's the bad guy that's really just the misunderstood guy.
Like, he could be potentially a good bad guy, but I just don't think he will be necessarily. Now, I don't know where this takes off as far as like episode 9, well, movie 9 or any of that, and like where it follows up from there. I'm hoping, I don't think we get any Brian O'Connor in this movie. Maybe I'm wrong on that. He might be back. I don't know. Do you think, have you heard the post-credit spoiler that came out?
No.
Do you think I should talk about it, or do you think I should just leave it?
For my sake, I'd prefer you leave it
Okay.
if you really must.
I don't really want to talk about it. I wish it wasn't spoiled for me for the most part. So I will say this though, it was kind of annoying the way the whole thing broke down because like, we're in an era now where like we don't spoil post-credit scenes, right? Like it's been like this for fucking 10 years. I feel like since Iron Man or some shit, it's been like you don't spoil post-credit scenes.
No,
And
you just tell me how many there are and you leave it at that.
and I think it was like TMZ or it was like a major major news outlet. I call TMZ a major news outlet, which is crazy. But either way, they are pretty major and they are a form of news outlet. I think they spoiled what the post credit is, and then I avoided it there. But then it's just I scrolled Twitter a fair amount, and somebody just put it in like their little blurb on Twitter, and I was like, dude, like I couldn't avoid that. That's not fair to me. It's kind of bullshit when you really get down to it. So what I want to talk about though, as we continue to preview this movie, where are we at year to date with box office? Like, what are the top dogs? Who are the head honchos out there?
Number one this year, Super Mario.
It passed Avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah, suck that, James Cameron, you fucking idiot.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah, fuck yeah, yeah.
Then we got Avatar number 2 and Guardians number 3.
That's it's good to hear. Where are we at with Guardians? Where are we at in the box office performance right now?
This past weekend we did 62 mil.
And cumulatively, domestic box office, what are we at?
214.
That seems okay, but not as good as I would expect it to be, kind of, because I just assume Mario like bodied that, right?
Oh yeah, they did.
So, wow, fucking that little Italian bastard.
Like, just to compare, Guardians did 118 opening weekend and then 62 in second weekend.
Okay.
Mario did 166 opening weekend and then 92 the following weekend.
Yeah, I mean that's just going to continue to be the top movie of the year, huh? Like I can't think of do you think okay, so that's where this conversation's kind of leading to. Do you have the estimated box office total for the Fast movie this weekend?
So, I had a few different sources here, but everybody was basically predicting around 70 to 80 million opening weekend.
What is the largest opening weekend release for a Fast movie?
That would be, hold on, I did have that tab. Where'd it go? Fast 7, or Furious 7.
Yeah, R.I.P.
That was
Paul
147 million opening weekend.
What year?
That would be 2015.
2015, huh? Yeah, I mean, so what did the next movie do? What did so that was 7? What did 8 do? Because 9, I don't think is going to be a fair. Well, actually, 9 might be the most comparable now to 10.
Well, yeah, because so 8, The Fate of the Furious, did 98 million.
Okay, and then 9 came out post pandemic.
Yeah, 2021.
Okay, how much?
70 million.
Okay, so they're anticipating this overshoots that movie.
I think they're anticipating it in that ballpark, which with a $340 million budget, that's not a strong opening weekend.
I mean, the reality is this movie's very, like, we're just talking domestic box office right now. If you go and look at world box office for these movies, it's up there. I think the other part of it wanting to go 3 parts for Vin Diesel now is he's really going after the most profitable movie franchise of all time. That's his goal. And I think with this movie, he's going to pass that, but then putting more movies in the bank, it's going to keep going. I mean, clearly the guy's addicted to money. But do you think it ends up at number 1 in the box office? Simple first question.
When?
This weekend.
Who
Does it pass Guardians?
Yeah.
Okay. What did Guardians do last week, we said? 68?
62.
62. Okay, yeah, so it's going to smash that. I think it's going to outdo that by about 20 million.
More.
More than that, you think?
I think Guardians probably dips to probably like 30 to 40 million.
Well, so I'm saying outdoes 68 million. But then I find it interesting that like Guardians 3, I mean, that movie has really, really strong word of mouth, but week 1 doing 140 million is kind of
118.
Well, fuck. Okay, I was just really far off on that number. 118. I mean, that's pretty good. I think anything now where you surpass 100 million is considered to be pretty successful.
Yeah.
That's got to be a pretty good gauge on how successful your movie has become. I don't think that this movie surpasses it. I think some of the goodwill with the Fast franchise was burned off with 9, to be completely honest. It wasn't a movie that I could say I really enjoyed. I would say largely considered my least favorite Fast movie to date. And the reason why being, so there's a Twitter thread right now. And then the Twitter thread is about like, when did you know these movies had gone like too far? And it's a lot of different clips of like extreme crazy action sequences from the movie.
Yeah.
Some people go with when The Rock broke his cast in 7.
Didn't he also like hold down a helicopter by hand or something like that?
That was in Hobbs and Shaw, which there's some debate as to if that's in the same universe as this.
Okay.
It could be like a side universe kind of deal. But either way, some people said like when Vin Diesel, when Dom catches Letty from car to car across the highway, like that's a big one. But for me, the moment that really like negatively impacted the franchise for me came in 9. And it's this scene where they're in a broken down building, and it's Roman, which is Tyrese's character.
Yep.
He has like probably like 10 guys with guns surrounding him, and they all are shooting at him, and none of them can hit him, and he just like blind fires in a circle and kills them all. And he breaks the fourth wall and is like, how do we never die from this stuff? And it's like, but that's a fucking problem. Like, I don't have a problem with the, like, superhero movies are very much in place now, and these movies are essentially, without saying it, just like an extension of a superhero movie to a point, right? But that was too much for me. And I think it took me out of really enjoying that movie as a whole. I don't mind the fact that like somehow Han is back. Like that doesn't kill me that much. I don't mind that they go to space. I find that funny. Like I think that like for what these movies are, that's just funny, right? But him getting shot by 10 people and not even getting hit with a single bullet, I think when you remove the chance that there's any death to this franchise, it kind of takes away a lot of what you've built this entire franchise on, right? Because they're the people dying and those deaths being emotional, and then their ability to come back and bring them back from those deaths is a major thing that the franchise is built on, right?
Yeah.
So when you have no consequence left, it takes away any real stakes that you feel are attached to this movie. And that's where, like, do you think in 9, or 10 rather, do you think in 10 coming out this week, do you think that somebody will die?
No.
No?
No. Somebody will probably come back.
Yeah, I think you could see Giselle's character back in there.
Yeah.
Because they never found a body for that one.
Yeah, nobody dies.
If you're doing a 3-parter, I feel like somebody should die. I'm trying to think who I think it would be. Is it Cate Blanchett that's Jason Statham's mom? Or is it Dame Judi Dench?
Yeah, that's in the wrong
Can
person.
you look up the easiest one would be like Fast 8? And you're looking for the old lady. This is such an easy name that I'm just like, I get my old English women confused. Not any of them. Your big head's in my way, so I can only help you so much on this. Her.
Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren of the movie Red fame. Not her only role that she's famous from. But like, what if you killed her? She's most recently in Shazam. She's also in that Harrison Ford movie, TV show, the spinoff to Yellowstone.
Huh.
1938.
Okay.
Yellowstone, not a show you watch, but I've watched a season and a few episodes of, is going to be ending after season 5 because Kevin Costner is beefing with the director. Side note.
Everybody's beefing.
Yeah, there's a ton of beef out there in the world. They could make a whole rap documentary about that.
But we're not talking about rappers.
But there was one called Beef. No? Okay. So you don't think anybody's going to die? I think it's going to be hard to kill any of the core characters. Although, one's already dead. So, like, we could just be an easy way to do it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Paul.
Wow. Really? Really, bro?
I mean, it's just an easy way to write an important character off of there, right?
No, you know what? You want to kill somebody? Kill The Rock.
You said cock?
The Rock.
Okay, I thought you were still talking hardness.
No.
The Rock's not in these anymore, dude, so you can't do that.
Well, I know. They're beat.
Oh, you're saying kill him off screen?
Yeah. The same way you were just going to have them kill my boy Brian.
Yeah. Well, you could just have... Oh, that would have been a mean joke. Never mind.
Oh, no. I think I know where your head went with that, and I don't want you to even say it.
It would have been the most obvious way for him to die in this, and it was like, well, that would have been a little too close, probably. Fuck. Yeah, I think if you kill somebody and really have them die in this movie, not in real life die, but like in the movie die, I think that would do me wonders for making me anticipate the second and third part to this. I think if there's no consequences whatsoever, or any fear of like that, you can't create tension to a movie for huge action sequences if you're not going to kill people, right? So you look at the end of 6.
Well, so I think what they're trying to build on is just how much more ridiculous can we get?
Yeah, that's fine, but you can still have people fucking die. Like, this is my point, dude. Like, at the end of 6 has like the 300-mile runway scene, right? At the end of it.
Yeah.
And she just falls off of the like you losing Giselle at the end of that was like huge, man. Like that like was a heart-wrenching death. And then it leads to Han leaving and going to Tokyo, right? And it leads to Han dying, which sets off major parts of this franchise. And I get that Han's back now, and it kind of unwrites some of those things. But to a point, those impactful emotional moments set off major storyline arcs. It added Jason Statham to the storyline, right? Like it provided them characters to work with. And now the only dead people that we're using are the father of fucking bum ass bad guys who died, and we're to bring in Momomo, dude. Like what's the fucking point of that? Either way, though, I'm looking forward to this. It is a movie that I can't help but feel some sense of excitement. And to be honest, I thought it was coming out next week. I didn't know it was coming out this week. That's, we did that. I got kind of lost in the sauce last week on the summer movie preview, I guess, and just got a little ahead of myself. I assumed it was last week of May. Anything left on the bone here?
I don't think so.
So this is what I wanted to do as far as a game this week, Dante.
Uh-oh.
So you famously think that the third movie is the best movie in the franchise.
I famously think that?
Yes.
Sure.
Documented on this podcast. The third Fast and the Furious. 3 Fast, third Furious.
No, I never said that was the best one in the franchise.
You know you have. You love the DK.
I said it was between the first and the second.
No. The third is what you always talk about. Okay, so let's start here. Have you seen every movie in the franchise?
Yeah.
I can't tell if that was a real yeah or just like a humoring me yeah.
No, that was a real yeah, but if you're going to ask me to recall specific details, it depends which one it's from.
Well, this is what I was kind of banking on, if I'm being honest, because if I've learned anything through doing this with you, you remember nothing from movies you watch, right?
Nothing.
So what we're going to have you do, Dante, is we're going to have you rank the Fast and the Furious movies. And since you're not going to remember a majority of them, we're going to rank them based on details that I provide and synopsises that I gain from IMDb.
Okay.
All right? So let's start here. Fast 1. You said it could be one, it's probably third in your top 3?
No. The first and the second one are battling for number 1.
All right, so let's start there. We're going to just start 1 Fast, 1 Furious, 2 Fast, 2 Furious.
Sure.
Which rank those two?
I think I'm going to give the first one number 1, and then 2 Fast, 2 Furious number 2.
Do I need to add any context for you? Would you like me to provide you any information to remember those movies by?
Those ones I remember very well.
In the first one, DVD players. Vince calls him a rat.
Okay.
Johnny Chan? Johnny
Johnny
Tran.
Tran.
Yeah, him. In the second one, Menage! Jumps over a bridge with a car.
Yes, that did happen.
Pockets ain't empty, cuh. What does he say? Ejectocito, cuh.
I was just gonna say, I think the second movie might have had more quotables than the first one.
I mean, the second movie is just quotables.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, we rate that movie highly. That's not it. Like, that one may be like some of the worst. Like, as far as like, I feel like the car racing scenes were very CGI in that movie.
Oh, super CGI.
Yeah, like you go inside like the vehicle a lot with like the NOS moving through it.
Yeah. You end up in the freaking engine somehow.
So for you in the first movie, what's a scene that stands out? Let's do something like that.
Jesus Christ. First movie scene that stands out.
Is it a race?
I was gonna say probably the race at the end with the Charger and the Supra when Brian
crashes the train scene.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Hey, how often do muscle cars actually do wheelies?
Depends. I mean, if they're built, they actually can do wheelies. They're typically those V8s are very torquey.
Okay, so Too Fast, Too Furious. What's the scene that stands out for you?
Too Fast, Too Furious. There's so many. It's probably gonna be Pockets Ain't Empty Cut.
Pockets Ain't Empty Cut. I think the scramble scene.
The scramble scene was definitely a great one.
The down and back race, the relay, I think's a dope scene.
Use them bus tokens, partner.
Okay, so now we're gonna add in Three Fast, Three Furious, Tokyo Drift Edition. Where does that one now fall? And I know it's just like you can make it easy on the people and say number one.
No, I mean it's recorded on this podcast, like you said. That's number 3.
I don't think that that's the case. Okay, so so some things that may stand out to people in this movie: Gaijins, Hulk Hand Scion, Gaijin again, drifting into crates behind an abandoned building.
Okay.
And DK, not Donkey Kong. Scene that stands out to you in this movie?
Again, it's the final race. When they swapped the S15 motor into the Mustang and did the race down the mountain.
I think for me, it's when he is racing at the beginning and drives through the model home.
Oh shit! I forgot about that scene.
That's how he ends up a Gaijin.
Was it Bad Boys that also did that?
The Gaijins?
No. Drove through like a home under construction, like a Hummer, right? That was Bad Boys 1 or 2.
Well, so okay, in Bad Boys 2, they're driving through Rio and through the favelas. And they drive down an entire mountain. It's actually practical. They literally drove a Hummer through like they built a village, a fake favela village on a hill, and drove through all of them.
Oh, like they actually did that?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I remember that from I feel like maybe like MTV back in the day used to do like they'd have like the making of or like behind the scenes for they definitely did it for music videos, but I think they had it at times for really popular movies. And Bad Boys 2, obviously, at the time, 2 of the biggest actors in the world, huge budget, yada, yada, yada. I think it got that treatment. All right, so next up, For Fast, Forever Furious. Do you remember this movie? This is one of the ones I'm pretty confident you will not remember.
I think I do.
Okay. What do you got? What stands out?
This was like the last one that actually incorporated any real street racing, right?
No.
Didn't they go to like Mexico or some shit to like race for?
They weren't.
They raced
they
for
weren't
Braga,
racing.
right? Wasn't that what it was?
There was racing in this, but it's not the last one to include racing. And I'll tell you why soon.
Yes, sir.
So you need me to fill you in on you want me to hit you with the IMDb?
I like your
synopsis?
summaries.
All right. Well, I will do that. Okay, that's fine. I'll do that. So at the end of 3, The post credit is the return of Vin Diesel.
Yep.
Recall. It's post Han dying. Han dies. He's got to go see about a girl, and the girl is Han, and Vin is the one seeing about him.
Wait,
you wouldn't get that.
That's a quote from my favorite movie.
One
of my favorite movies.
Yeah, I don't even know that you remember anything about that movie. Apparently, you can watch.
I do remember Good Will Hunting, right?
Yes.
Come on, man.
You can apparently watch this on the TBS app, by the way. That's what IMDb is telling me. So this movie is Brian O'Connor returns to the franchise. Dom Toretto returned to the franchise. Dom Toretto has resurfaced back on the scene because death of an old love, not Han, Letty. He's been working for somebody. Person he might have been working for could have been Brian as an informant. Puts her in with Braga. She gets murdered. Then he, being Dom Toretto, private eye, sniffs the stuff off the ground. He's like, they using meth. Only rats use meth, right? Is that what he says? Something like that?
I don't remember any of the quotes from that movie.
And yeah, they have a race scene where it's mostly done on a GPS. And then another scene where Brian has to get a bug out of a cup in his car because they're searching for bugs. And then another scene where they get a white cowboy busted for drugs so that he can get himself into the race. And then finally, they race through the caverns of Mexico, right along the border.
Oh yeah, they were racing through like the tunnels that they have like from Mexico to the US, right?
Yes. So where does this movie rank? And did I do a good job of reminding you?
Yeah. This sounds really bad, but that's coming in at number 4. I almost feel like the movies are ranking in order for me.
That one sounds bad?
No, I'm saying like I think the movies were just on an even decline from the beginning.
Okay, I'm going to add a quote to my synopsis. This is from IMDb. It says, after preventing Brian from passing him during the race, their race scene for him to get into Braga's crew is actually, I like that one. It's pretty good. But yeah. Dom Toretto looks at Brian and says, still a buster. Yeah. I've seen these movies too many times because I can just like, here's another one. So this is when he finds out that Letty, so Dom finds a phone from Brian, well, in Brian's apartment, and it calls it, and it's like Letty's, it's a call like for Letty. It's Letty's phone and her stuff or whatever, some shit, whatever. Yeah. And he attacks Brian, and he's like, she did it for you, Dom. She did it for you. Letty came to me looking to clear your name in exchange for bringing down Braga. She just wanted you to come home. That's pretty good.
That was pretty good. I feel like that's your only dramatic voice. I feel like anytime you do a quote, it's that same exact
No, but
voice.
You go watch that scene. Hey, maybe we take that as a short, and I need you to overlay me with Paul Walker, and we'll prove that I just did an exact enactment of that from the movie. Okay.
Okay.
So Fast 5 is next up. So just to be clear, you have it ranked Fast 3, 1, 2, 4.
No, I had it 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, just keep a track. Keeping you on your toes. All right, so Fast 5, what do you remember?
That was the one with the Chargers where they stole the safe and drove down the highway, right?
Yes, you've spoiled the end of the movie. Thank God.
That might be the only thing I remember from that movie.
All right, so synopsis. There's a train. It's just Brian and Mia on the train. They're robbing the train for cars.
Oh, yeah.
Because they need to make money. Oh, the movie also starts with breaking Dom out of jail because he was arrested at the end of 4. Because he turns himself in. He's going legit. He's straight edge now. So they, in the process of needing to get this car off of this train, steal from the wrong guy, he's now after them. While at the same time, as I mentioned, Dom has escaped from jail, and a U.S. Marshal by the name of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, sweaty as fuck, is hot on his tail. he's also coming after them. And it leads to some of the best action sequences. And I would personally say the number one Fast and the Furious movie of any of them in the franchise take place in this movie. You have the scene of them running through the favelas of Brazil. And they are like running across the tops of the buildings. And like there's a really cool shot where Dominic jumps off of the roof of a favela. Well, The Rock is running underneath him and jumps through the window right behind him, and like that's a really, really cool shot. There's also this is like one of the first, I think, Brian O'Connor like really good action sequences. Like it kind of shows off some of his hand-to-hand chops in this movie. And then to your point, the most like elaborate up to this point action sequence that they've done is the safe, which that I think to this day you can feel that action really, really well through the entirety of the movie, of that ending sequence. Like it feels like they're genuinely driving around with a safe behind their car, slamming into everything that they could find.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the introduction also of like the, I don't know, like Ocean's 11 style team that they have now, where
I was
they
gonna say, like this movie is probably the one that catapulted it more to like a action
heist
franchise
type
than a racing franchise.
Yeah, this is definitely a large departure from racing. Like they don't need to race to get cars in this. They don't like they drive nice cars. They're very good drivers, but they don't race at all, I don't think, in this movie. Though, okay, a scene that may stand out for you, Dante, is when they're trying to navigate driving through the police station and they have to test drive the vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
I think they also do this in The Italian Job.
Yeah.
Am I correct? Yeah. Okay, so rank it. Where does this rank for you?
I think I might not be in order anymore. I might actually bump this one above 4.
But it still comes in 1, 2, 3, 5, 4?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, that's like your number one. I get it.
Well, I just think it's a stupid... You've now, like, the sanctity of the ranking system's probably... gone now. Because it's just inaccurate, but it's fine. All right, moving on to Fast 6.
Refresher.
All right, I already told you about the plane. Okay, so you find out at the end of 5, Eva Mendez, tells The Rock, "We found a girl," and it's Letty, and you find out she's still alive. She has no memory though, no brain. She's brainless, like most women.
Whoa, I think we might have to. No, never mind. Don't leave it in.
We'll leave that one in there. So, no brain. Can't remember nothing. She's working with the bad guys now. Bad guys feature Gina Carano, original great women's fighter who's very attractive at that point, but now very canceled. She got kicked out of The Mandalorian, for our Star Wars nerds out there that I know we have. You have Han caring about a girl. Girl dies. Great fight sequence in the subway with Gina Carano and Letty. Cars that are built like what was the battle bots, you know? You have cars that are like battle bots, the ones that go around and flip cars up on their sides. Remember those little go-karts in the beginning that like drive the opposite side on the road and they're like flipping cop cars over and stuff?
Yeah.
What did you think of the driving sequence at the beginning of that movie?
What was the driving sequence?
Well, that one where they're like driving through the streets of like...
That was the beginning?
Yeah, it's towards the very beginning of the movie. Not like the very, very beginning, but it's like towards the first like 30, 40 minutes.
Okay.
Because remember, they're also like they have the things that deactivate like the wheels on the cars and cause them to crash, and they drive through the front. In that one, I think it's like Ludacris drives through the front of a storefront or something and crashes.
Damn, I'm not remembering this. This is where it starts to get hazy.
Damn, you were on that purple haze then, huh?
No, sir.
Okay. So any of the ones you don't remember, you just have to rewatch before Thursday now, right?
I guess I'm going to have to rewatch 6 through 9.
Yeah, 69. So now rank it, Dante, based on what I've told you. Well, I should really start reading to you the synopsises for these, huh?
The synopses?
What the problem is, like this one, just like they start getting creative with the names after these ones. Okay, so Hobbs has Dom and Brian reassemble their crew to take down a team of mercenaries. Dominic unexpectedly gets sidetracked while facing his presumed deceased girlfriend. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So rank it.
6th.
That goes last?
Yeah.
All right. Man, you have this people out there, I'm sorry this list is so bad.
That's all right. You're going to have a different one.
All right, so Furious 7. After the loss of his brother at the end of 6 being I believe his name was Luke Hobbs, maybe? Not Hobbs. Luke so Luke
Shaw,
Evans' character.
Right?
Luke Evans' character is the bad guy in 6. He dies. He gets tossed off the back of a plane. Or he doesn't die, but he gets like badly injured, and he's now arrested or some shit. Deckard Shaw, played by Jason Statham, is now the bad guy in this. He shows up in an office and beats the shit out of The Rock. You may remember The Rock has to jump out of like a 3rd-story window and lands on the top of a car and is like fine from it.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Was that before or after he flexed off the cast?
That's before. That's how he gets beat up and ends up in the hospital with said cast.
Yeah.
This movie, you said the 4 was the last one to include racing. This movie includes Race Wars.
Does it?
Yes.
It brings back Race Wars from the first one?
Yes, Race Wars is in this movie. There is I don't know why they go there, but Letty goes there. She gets all butthurt and she has to leave. This movie also includes one of the first, like, while that action sequence might be a little too much, it's the scene where they're on like the 100th floor in Saudi Arabia or some shit, or
okay.
is it Saudi? Somewhere out there.
This was the movie that Paul Walker died in the middle of them making it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. So it has the Wiz Khalifa song.
Yes.
This is the one with the Wiz Khalifa song.
Yes.
But the scene I'm referencing is the one where they jump from high rise to high rise to high rise
with the car driving through the windows. Yeah. You
down for that?
Fuck no.
You couldn't do that?
No.
How fast do you think the car would have to get up to do that jump?
How far apart are the buildings?
Maybe you can, like, is there a science blog about that? Like, maybe out there? Let's say approximately, right, I mean, they have to be like 100 feet, right?
100 feet apart, and you're probably going down, what, like 40 feet?
Do you think they dropped that many floors?
Yeah, didn't they drop a few floors?
I don't know. I think it was only like a couple floors. How would you get going that fast? So in there, they spin their tires a bunch, which I don't ever understand. It doesn't make you faster.
No,
right?
It doesn't. It actually makes you slower.
Yeah, like that doesn't make sense.
It just looks cool in movies.
So they did that, and then they drive around in like a circle around like this like fountain that's like that many floors up or some shit before just driving through the window.
How fast do you think they hit?
I mean, like Ray J, they probably hit it twice.
Doesn't matter as long as you're first, right?
They've jumped from building to building. So you now have this ranked. You how did you appreciate the way they send off Paul Walker at the end of this movie?
Yes.
They do the Robert Frost Two Roads Diverging in Wood.
And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.
Mm-hmm. Charlie Puth, originally he wrote that song. He didn't think that he would get chosen to like be the singer of it, and was very, very surprised when he got the phone call from Wiz. Just a fun fact. Fate of the Furious. That's F8. Fate of the Furious.
I see what they did there.
Yeah. Rank it. Well, where do we put 7?
We didn't rank 7.
Okay, sorry.
You just jumped ahead.
Yeah, well, I just assume you're probably going to put it last for some reason.
I'm actually going to put it above. What did I have? 5 at 6?
So you have it right now 3, 1, 2.
You keep changing 5, my rankings.
4.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 6 is what you have right now.
I think I put this above 6.
Really? Okay. All right. So 8. 8 has. Maybe I narrow them down now. So 8 is the one where Dom Toretto goes bad. He's paired up with Charlize Theron in this one. It now has Jason Statham on the side of the good guys. One of my favorite Fast and the Furious scenes ever takes place in this movie. It's a scene towards the end because Charlize Theron has stolen Dom's baby, and they're on a plane, and the two brothers, Deckard Shaw and his brother, whatever his brother's name is, Shaw, both land on a plane, like Halo jump onto a plane, and he goes and saves the baby. And what he does is he puts headphones on the baby, so the baby's listening to like fun like music, while he's just like murking people up and down this plane. And it's just, I think it's a fun little scene. There also was a scene where The Rock catches a missile shot from a submarine with his bare hands as it skids across ice, and he turns it around and sends it back.
Pretty sure I've seen Superman do that too, right?
Yeah. No, a thin line of difference there. Yeah. Oh, something I missed from the 7th movie real quick also is there's a scene where they're on the top of a parking garage fighting at the end of it. I think this is at the end of 6 or 7. It's at the end of 7, definitely. And it's when he's facing Jason Statham, and he just stomps really hard, and he sends like a huge crack down the middle of the parking garage and causes it to fall.
Yeah.
Who can't get a kick out of these things, dude? That's so funny. That's such a funny thing to think about. Like, so yeah, in this one, The Rock catches a missile. I love though, for that matter, the scene of them, like I like the whole them driving on the ice at the end of the movie, with like sports cars that are made to like drive in the snow. Yeah. And like I just think it's funny. I think it's overall pretty funny. They has to say like this is just the continuing of like Roman is just the like comic relief again in this. But anything else I need to add for you for context? Did I hit it all?
I think this one is
scene where all the cars fall out of the parking garage onto the people in the streets.
Oh yeah,
she has God's eye or something like that.
Yeah. This might be the one I remember the least.
Okay, this is I think one that's worth watching.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, definitely. So does that mean you put this last?
I mean, just for the sake of I can't remember much from it.
Okay. So we have your movie ranking now at 3, 1, 2, 4. What?
1, 2, 3.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 6. No. 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 6, 8.
Yes.
All right. Now I've already told you about 9. They go to space. The Roman has that scene where like he doesn't die. There's that scene at the very, very beginning where Dom, the bridge is gone. And he catches like the thing around the bottom of his wheel of his car, and it like sends him across the huge ravine. They go to space. I don't know if I mentioned that. And I don't remember anything else from this movie. Like I don't even know who the bad guy is in that movie. I don't think.
Yeah, I remember scenes. I don't actually remember the plot.
Yeah, like this is clearly my least favorite because I remember nothing from it.
I think this one had some of the most entertaining action scenes.
The return of Han.
This wasn't the return of Han, was it?
Yeah. He was dead until this.
Oh, yeah. This is when they made up the whole backstory about how he got out of the crash, right?
Yeah, Mia and Letty maybe go to Tokyo and track him down.
Yeah. All right.
And then you have the white kid back from... You have Bow Wow and the white kid back.
The white kid. The Gajin.
Yeah. Exactly. That's probably a nicer way to put it. All right, rank it.
Remind me my ranking.
It's 3, 1, 2.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 6, 8.
I think I'm putting it above 8.
That's so funny. Why? Give me context. Why?
I don't really remember 8, but I just know that I enjoyed at least some of the action sequences in 9.
Name them. Which ones? Oh shit! I just remembered who the bad guy in 9 is. It's John Cena.
Yeah,
we couldn't see him.
His brother. He came back.
We couldn't fucking see him. That was the issue. Yeah, it's his brother. There's a whole backstory with like de-aging Vin Diesel and stuff in this.
Yeah, no, I just like that one.
All right. Okay, so just to give a final update before we go into the new movie of Dante's list, his rankings, it goes 3, 1.
One,
All right, 1,
two,
2,
three.
3, 5, 4, 7, 9, 8.
You didn't put 6 in there?
Oh shit! Fuck. 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 6. No, 5, 7, 6, 8, 9. No, fuck.
5,
This
7,
is-
6, 9, 8.
This has just gotten to be way more complicated as we've added numbers, huh? 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 7, 6, 9, 8. I
Yeah.
think that's actually the list.
Yeah.
All right, it's wrong. It's like blatantly a very bad ranking.
But
of
it
these
can't be wrong.
movies.
It's opinion.
No, opinions
It's my
can be
opinion.
wrong, and you're like T-ball culture right now. They told you you couldn't be wrong about stuff. You can't lose. You lost. This was bad. This is a really bad ranking. Probably the accurate ranking of these movies goes something along the lines of 5. Well, I would probably need to put more thought into this as like an actual ranking. But if I just quickly do it, 5 is number 1. So 5, 1, 6. 8, 4, 2, 3, 7, 9. I think that's kind of where I fall. I might go 7, 3, 9. But that's probably a more accurate like ranking of these movies. Let us know what you think if this wasn't confusing for anybody as it was for us here.
It's definitely confusing for me.
Yeah. I wouldn't expect anything less. I obviously, like I've stressed in this, I am a very, very big fan of this franchise. I look forward to it continuing. Let us know if
Can
you're
I add one thing?
Yeah, what's up?
Where do you think Fast 10 will fall in your true ranking?
I don't know. I can tell you this. I am very nervous about this being bad. The 9 was just like such a disappointment, and then Jason Momoa is like, he sucks.
He's gonna come wrestle Vin Diesel.
We don't need fucking Aquaman in this bitch, you know? So yeah, I'm pretty nervous. I think that it could end up being lower tier. Yeah. But maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. Maybe this will turn it up to a Fuego 100 and it'll be the greatest thing of all time. I doubt it, but it'd be really cool if it did.
We all know you got to watch these movies with an open mind anyways.
Mm-hmm. And that's why it's best to not go in knowing anything about it before you see it. Right, so there's nothing to like build for expectation. I think the trailer was actually pretty fun though.
The trailer ruined some of the bullshit stunts that I wanted to gasp at in the theaters, but
Yeah, but there's still going to be more. You know, if they're showing you that, like you're just going to get the full scope of it now. 7 also has a scene where they drop the cars out of the planes.
oh yeah,
Yeah, it was a cool scene. Yeah, so let us know if you're excited for it. What do you think the box office performance will be? If you want to throw your rankings for the movies down below, as we've announced, Dante's favorite is 3. My favorite is 5, the more reasonable choice. Really quick before we get out of here, Dante, have you watched anything? You got homework last week, and I know you didn't do it.
oh crap,
Yep, there we go. Did you watch anything, though?
no,
Nothing?
no.
Nothing.
I actually did intend to watch The Blacklist. I even made like a list. A note in my phone and everything, and I dropped the ball.
Have you watched How I Met Your Father?
I watched the first season, and I don't even know why I watched the whole first season. I didn't really like it.
No, I liked. I thought that it started off slow, but I liked it by the end quite a bit actually. Season 2 is like half of it is out so far. I just want to know if you'd seen any of it.
I wanted it to give me more of like what I loved about How I Met Your Mother, and I just don't feel like it really hit the same.
Didn't resonate with you.
Yeah.
I love Hilary Duff. She is an amazingly attractive woman.
She's aged well.
Yeah. It's exactly like she is just the older version of Lizzie McGuire now. It's like weird. Like some people change a little bit. She ain't changed at all. Just older.
Yeah.
You know? I have, as I said, just been watching Arrow. I did watch Guardians again, the first Guardians, while I was going to bed one night. But yeah, I've just been watching Arrow. I've banged out 2 seasons since last week when we've last spoken, everybody. As I said, I'm enjoying it. I'm going to keep watching. For all of you who said that it got bad, you're fucking idiots. It's that simple. Other than that, though, I think we're going to be making our way out of here. It's been a pleasure. Hope you enjoyed the history lesson. Again, let us know anything you guys thought about that down below. Drop a comment, say hello, whatever it might be. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Dante, where can they find you?
Dirty Water ENT on Twitch, Dirty Water _ENT on YouTube and Instagram.
We are available everywhere that podcasts can be found, such as Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, The Moon, Deezer.
These nuts?
Oh, yep, those. And YouTube. We are on YouTube. We're also on TikTok. We are on Instagram at For Those With Good Taste. On Twitter at Good Taste Live. It has been real. Thank you if you've made it this far. Again, drop a like down below. We are For Those With Good Taste, and we will continue to be.
Peace.
For those with good taste.